Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MTD Watch series, your real guide to making tax digital, powered by the RC Accountant Network. This is the show where we cut through the noise and dive into what MTD really means for your practice, from the pricing and preparation to the tools that help firms get ahead. Now, usually you would hear, I'm your host, Aaron Patrick, but now I'm the host, Amy Hancock, co-host of the Tech Labs podcast and #AuditAmy. Our lovely Aaron, aka the QuickBooks chap, is on his way. He'll be joining us shortly. But now I'm joined by the lovely Susanna Whelan, MICB bookkeeper and MTD specialist, known as #MTD Queen. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, Amy. Well done. Well done for taking the intro.
So, in the series, we were unpacking the true cost of MTD readiness, exposing the common pitfalls, and grilling the software vendors on what was going to work. Now, we're going to talk about what's been working, what hasn't been working, how well we're doing before the Friday deadline. We are broadcasting across LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram, and this episode will also be available on demand and on all major podcast platforms. You're right, Susanna. Oh no! We'll get there. We'll get there. So be sure to follow and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the moment of these series. And if you're watching live, drop in a question and anything that's going on. So I'm not quite sure how to get people. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Aaron. So hi, Mahal. Good afternoon from a sunny London. Hi, Nadine. Nice to see you here. Hi, Rob. And finally, Victoria. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Like I said, Aaron will be joining us shortly. So give us a bit of leniency because we're not used to this hosting malarkey, but he is there in the background doing all the technical bits for us. So, Susanna, how has your first month's submission gone?
Well, it's been more work, I think, than I thought it was going to be, because despite being talking about, I've been saying for months how prepared I was, and we were on top of this, and we do regular bookkeeping, etc., but it has been harder, I think, than I was expecting. There's been more teething issues, technical glitches, software glitches, and just stuff that you don't really know about until you start doing it. And then you
Speaking of technical, can you log back out, log back in again, Susanna? Because it's gone very robotic on yourself. Is that right?
No worries.
Amy, do you want to? Hello. I will be in the proper room soon. Amy, do you want to talk about your experience while we wait?
Yes. So I thought if you go back in previous episodes, I would have 20 people that were in for this quarter. I actually only have 17. Reason being, a few of my clients haven't been mandated. One, and again, other people might know this, but I didn't know this. One's a foster carer, so didn't have to come in, even though the separate sole trade was over. Another one has a kind of agreement, a bankruptcy agreement with HMRC, so they don't need to come in either. And another one has ceased to trade. So there was confusion around the ceasing to trade thing. We did speak to HMRC at the time. This was a few months ago. Now, I will say, straight from the get-go, HMRC have been amazing with this. If I think back to VAT, there was a bit of help, but nothing on like the help you get here. 100%. So I will touch on that in a bit later. So 17 in, 8 submitted, 9 to go. Okay. So I would have liked to have been in a better position by now. However, we have a few clients that said they wanted to pick the option to do their own bookkeeping. Surprisingly not done their own bookkeeping, or have done their own bookkeeping, and it's not necessarily how we would call bookkeeping, but I've got some latecomers as well. I don't know about either of you two, and I'm sure we'll go into this. I've had multiple calls from clients whose accountants have gone, not doing it. So some people I've had to turn down just because they needed the whole bookkeeping support, and it's just too late in the day to be doing that. So the people that have done their own bookkeeping, particularly those that are VAT registered, are well used to doing their bookkeeping in real time. So I have helped those out. I would like to help everyone, but we just don't have the capacity to do that. My one particular issue is 4 of my clients are ready and have been ready for 2 weeks, but we are unable to submit them. And the reason being is their periods. Their periods for 4 of my clients are showing as the 1st of April 2026 to the 6th of July 2026. We selected calendar. They were obviously, I think everyone is put in automatically go to 5th to the 6th. We selected calendar. It was accepted. But when you run the submission, all 4 of them come up with 1st of April to 6th of July. Now, this is a known issue. We did speak to HMRC, and you speak to a person. This is the thing I miss about HMRC, and what I used to love about the R&D team and all these other teams that you used to have, is that you can actually speak to a person. We have spoken to a person, and they did call us back, and they are keeping us in the loop. But the latest guidance is from them, it's a known problem. They are looking at it, unlikely to be fixed this week. But so just in case, notify your clients that, you know, they won't meet the deadline, but there obviously is no fines or penalties, and it's a aware issue. So yesterday we contacted those clients that it affected and said, you know, this is the problem. We're all ready to go. We just can't get it in.
So just to clarify, you can't submit.
I was going to say,
it's not a case that you could just submit something that's technically wrong.
Well, it's running 1st of April to the 6th. So
yeah, I get that, but could you physically, if you had to, could you physically submit, or is it stopping you completely?
So we've got them across multiple softwares. I know we've been through the softwares, but so far the softwares that I've used for submissions are QuickBooks, FreeAgent, and TaxCalc.
And you've got that problem across.
Haven't got it in QuickBooks. It's in FreeAgent and TaxCalc. So it is an HMRC thing. It's not a software thing.
No.
We haven't gone to test to press the button because we don't know whether it's going to end up in a calendar or.
Yeah, I suppose if you submit it then affects what you can submit going forward, and it could put you in calendar.
You know, yeah. So
you can't change it once you've submitted that.
We've also held off doing their tax returns for these people as well, because depending on, you know, I don't want to run their tax return to the 5th, and then it turns out it's going to be from the 1st, and the software's then pulling in the information from that period. We're not in a position. In TaxCalc, it's different because you import what you want to say, but it's still, we've not gone submitted 6th to 5th where it says 1st to 6th, because I don't want to cause problems later. And it might not. You're right, Aaron. It might be a case of, you know, you just submit it and you just carry on, and then it will default to calendar. Because I've just gone with calendar for most of my clients, just because that is in the software, that's just easier, and it also runs with clients' VAT periods.
Yeah, way easier, isn't it?
It just makes things easier. Personally, and I know I've said this before in a previous podcast, I kind of wish they didn't give us a choice.
Yeah.
And just when you're going to the 5th, you're going 6th to the 5th, and then the software would default to that for all the MTD submissions. But we are where we are, and they're aware. And, you know, I'm waiting to hear back from the clients. There's nothing you can do. So, you know, we're checking every day. We're logging in, because the best thing about using TaxCalc for us is, well, we were talking about doing all the submissions in TaxCalc.
Yeah.
Doing TaxCalc. And I was very happy with that. And obviously you fetch all the businesses, you fetch the submissions, and it's instant. So we did do a submission through QuickBooks. It didn't load. So then we pressed the button again. I think we ended up doing 4 submissions.
Oh, wow.
And when it did finally come through, now, whether that's a software issue, I don't know, but we submitted it 4 times. Went into TaxCalc straight away, was showing that it was submitted. So we have decided to submit in the software that the client is using, rather than just use TaxCalc for all of it, because the process is really easy for my easy clients. I'm talking about, you know, one that's either got sole trader or either a property. It's a review, give it to the client, check they're happy with it, they've signed it, submit, save the acknowledgement down, and then we're going into tax calc and double checking that it's there. Great, winning. And that's from QuickBooks and Free Agent. So I'm happy with how easy the process is, but we're talking about, I've done 8 submissions across the 3, and they've all been quite simple. The hardest part has been clients. So they didn't want to pay us to do the bookkeeping. Fair enough. Or we've got to spend so much time with them, helping them to get it right. And I don't think our pricing was necessarily right to cater for that. So I know, I haven't looked at the numbers yet. When I start looking next week, I know we've probably lost. But I do think, keep in the back of my mind, and I say this to my tax manager, Lisa, I'm like, year end's going to be so much easier. Year end's going to be so much easier.
That's true.
But we will be.
And I think the quarters will get easier as we get used, and the clients get used to the processes. We won't have that initial sort of setup and mapping and all of that, and the registrations and all of that part, and getting the calendar months or the tax months. That part, I had kind of I hadn't really appreciated how time consuming that part might have been or ended up being. But I do think that hopefully going forward that will be easier, and as you say, the year end should be a lot easier and quicker, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I think with these registrations, like I think of one particular client that has an accountant that has decided not to bother with it anymore. They haven't done 25-26 tax return yet. And we were very wary of, oh God, are we going to take away? Because I like to have the agent services account and the agent account for self-assessment. I like to have both because I feel like then you've got all the information for them. Yes, you don't have to have the agent account access to do the submissions. But we were like, oh, had they got that agent services account to look at their income tax record or something like that? And we were very wary for a couple of weeks of, do we just do it? And in the end, we've had to just go for it and go, you know what? If she needs to submit something or look something up afterwards, she can be a secondary at that point in time. So that's been the downside to taking people on late. I have a new one who came to us on Friday, and we still don't have access to everything. So that's going to be very long day as well. And at least they're not, there's not going to be no penalties or fines. Whether the penalties goes out, that's the thing that I'm concerned about is, you haven't filed letters. I hope they're not that strong. When people haven't filed their self-assessment or their VAT returns, the letters can be quite strong from HMRC.
They're not too bad, because I had one when I was on the beta.
Okay.
And so when I signed up for the beta for a client, and then Xero wasn't ready for the beta, so I had one then, and it wasn't too bad. But then that was definitely in the beta period, so I don't know if it will change. I think all you can do is flag it to the clients. There are going to be technical issues with this. It's a new thing for everybody. It's new for you. It's new for HMRC. There are no penalties, so just bear with us. But particularly if it's a new client who has come to you late, they've got to be, you're not a magician. You do what you can. You just put their mind at rest. And in a way, it's not a bad thing, because they will see the consequences of what it will be like next year if they're not filing on time or getting things to you on time and being organised.
Yeah, I must admit there is one story of a client. So we know when we were doing the podcast before, we were talking about options and pricing and, what we were going to do and what services. And it was kind of, we do it all. We do all your bookkeeping. We do your submissions. We do your year end final submission, or like a half bid in the middle. We do a bookkeeping review. We do the submissions. We do year end tax returns, or you do all this. You deal with everything. And I do have a client that went, do you know what? I'm going to deal with everything. So obviously this process had started April 2025. So the back end of last year, I'm going to do everything. Cool. Here's your QuickBooks license. Gave him a QuickBooks license. It's like, if you need me, get started now if you need me. Well, didn't get started at that point in time. Hadn't made any decisions. over the weekend last week said, get a message of, right, I think I'm done. Can you go and check everything now? And I was like, you kind of chose the option not to, but I'll happily send you a proposal. We'll get an engagement letter, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then, oh no, I'll do the submissions, but can you answer all these questions for me about how I categorize stuff in QuickBooks?
Yes, if you pay me for it.
Yeah, exactly that response. And I was like, you've decided we have other clients, we have capacity issues. If you want me to do it now, I'll do it now. But next week is a no-go, like this week. Ghosted me, absolutely nothing. But I'm engaged to do the year end. So I'm like, how? I mean, I have access to the QuickBooks. I can go and have a look. But how is that going to work? And I think
I would charge a premium for not doing the bookkeeping throughout the year, because you're going to have to go back and check it all in order to produce the year end.
It's a monthly fee.
They may think that
that's the thing. It's on a monthly tax return.
You need to review that now. Then.
I know, and I think this is where
it is probably hard, isn't it? It's easy for me to say that.
There's a lady that's on our QuickBooks Accounting Council, Kylie, who I spoke to a couple of weeks ago. No, it might have been about a month ago, and she said this exact thing. She said to me, "What if they don't do their bookkeeping, but you're paying? They're paying you to do the submission." And you get to this kind of battle not battle, that's a bit of a strong word, but you get to this week of submission and they're like, cool, you're doing the submission, but I'm doing the bookkeeping. I think my bookkeeping is fine. And you kind of get into this conflict. So I probably have done more than what I should do on some of those clients.
Yeah.
This month.
I think that's why I think it's quite a dangerous offering. That's why, I have. You've got to be really careful with which clients you allow to do that, I think.
Exactly. I have written for each client, and me and my tax manager, Lisa, have sat and spoken about each client where there are issues and gone, right, they're getting an email. I've sent one already to say, look, you have QuickBooks, you have rules. They're not VAT registered. You have rules from your bank. Like you need to, the ones that are left, you need to be going in and doing this regularly. Otherwise, we're going to have to start feet. Like you decided that this is your option. Yeah. And I think there's still from some people are kind of like, well, this is on you. Like you're my accountant. You just have to deal with it all. And I'm like,
it's really difficult. I think nip it in the bud early though, Amy. Don't wait until January.
100%. So it's going to be interesting. But now I've got a plan in my head, right? End of this week, everyone's in, hopefully. I'm looking to next year. That's where my bulky clients are.
Yeah.
I know.
How's it gone for you, Aaron?
So for us, there was 50 overall throughout the group. But out of them, I think we've got like 10 left to go. But it's been really interesting. Good. Yeah, I think, but a lot of them, the clients want to do themselves. So all that 50 was like who's affected, right? No. It's not a large proportion of our client base at all. But I was Mr. Positive about MTD for a long time. That's why I was in the betas. That's what force for good, all this sort of stuff that goes in there. It's like you were just mentioning there about the bookkeeping side of things. We've started to change that narrative a little bit, and we don't call it bookkeeping, especially if the client's doing it. We're purposely calling it data entry, and we're putting that everywhere in our engagement letters and our conversations with clients and everything else. We don't say, have you done your bookkeeping? We're saying, have you done your data entry? Yes or no?
Yeah, because they're not bookkeepers and they're not.
Yeah. Exactly right. Like we've got to take that turn back. Like we've let it go on for way too long.
They can do the bookkeeping. They can enter some data, but they're not doing the actual bookkeeping. They're not doing the adjustments. They're not doing all the extra things that people who think they can do bookkeeping don't even know about.
Exactly. And you're going to have clients who do data entry really, really well. You have clients who do data entry really, really bad. But what we're then doing is, well, when we come and do some work for you, we're doing the bookkeeping and it's at this rate, and that's how we're going to clean it up. Because a question to you, Amy, are you, because I know, Susanna, you're just going to do everything, right? Like you're doing the whole thing for them all.
Certainly at the moment. I have got a client who's coming in next year who I have trained to do the data entry. I like how you've said that, and I think I will use that. Who I trust to do it because she does do it properly and she does everything I've shown her to do, and she checks with me if she's not sure. But she is pretty much the only one. Everyone else, I'm doing it. I'm doing it all.
Because you can have those clients, right, where typically they came in once a year, dropped off a load of records, you prepared a set of accounts and based a tax return based on them. Those clients going forward are going to try and put some data entry into whatever software they're using. They're going to submit quarterly basis. Are you recreating from scratch, or are you going to try and fix what they've done? I know it'll be case by case, right? But that's the bit that I'm still not 100% sure.
Take longer than just doing it from scratch in the first place.
100%.
So how I positioned it with people who did want to do their own is it's going to cost you maybe a tiny amount more for me to do the whole lot. So you may as well, because I'm going to charge. I've got to charge for my time checking it, and I've got to check it properly. So you can either do all that work, and then even if it's perfect, I've still got to check it all, and I won't know that it's perfect until I've checked it all. Or you can pay me that little bit more and just pass the whole lot over, and then all you've got to be responsible for is making sure I'm getting all the paperwork and all the information in good time. And most of them have gone, oh, do you know what? Actually, yeah, you do it.
I mean, I've got a mixed bag. I think those people that would do spreadsheets and then give that to them to me at the end of the year, so they are doing spreadsheets, they've gone down the metal free agent route.
Nice.
And all of those free agent ones that I've got, sorry, I'm looking over here because I'm looking at my list. All those free agent ones that I've got are doing it fine. The only issues I had on two of them was, one, personal purchases they just deleted from free agent. It's fine because I've got the bank statements. I just chucked the few of them back in. Bank reconciles, everything looks great, good to go. Another one, there wasn't a drawings account and he was putting drawings to salary.
Yeah,
reclassified it. That's fine. Reclassified the lot. Just told him going forward. So my free agent ones are good. I'm happy with those. Then I've got a few of the ones that, shoebox end of the year. We're doing tax calc. I've given one client the actual template and said, fill it in yourself. Okay. And they have done that. Fine. Another one, we've used Apron to get them to snap and then export, gone into Excel and done the bridging. Great.
Okay.
They're subcontractors. We actually do the contractor. So we've got that information to hand. That's been quite a nice one. The problem ones that I've had are my QuickBooks ones. And it's not a reflection necessarily on QuickBooks, but it's been where they've got different accounts that are not linked. And it's their habit that needs changing. And this is where the email's gone off and going, right, can you just consolidate everything into the one account? We can do rules and I will help you do that. So I have delved into the bookkeeping more than I wanted and not necessarily charged for it. But here is I've done it because I wanted to get it over the line.
Yeah.
Learning curve. Going forward, this is what you need to change. And if you're not going to change it, we need to have a chat, and there's always that option. If you're really struggling and you want to have a chat with me about taking some over, that's absolutely fine. I think I've taken a very bespoke approach, and that's not necessarily going to work next year where I've got over 100 that are coming in. And I want to get started with them now. I feel like I'm late in getting them to go and get, because I know a lot of these people are still not got separate bank accounts or anything like that. So I need to get started with those. So I'm going to have to group more. We just got to be strict. And I like the data entry side of things. I think that's really good. And I think actually changing the people now to be like, right, you are doing data entry rather than bookkeeping. And now here is your bookkeeping fee. Ooh, that makes me nervous about that conversation. But at least we're talking about a small volume in my practice now that I've learned from that. And next year it will be a case of maybe 4 options instead of 3. So it's not as bad as I thought. And from the sounds of it, Aaron, it hasn't been too bad. Have you had any software glitches?
So there's definitely a whole conversation about what we've learned and go forward. Let's make sure we come back to that before the end of this pod, right? Talking about like the next transient and everything else. But the only one that's really has been software HMRC issues. So my HMRC issues that I still don't know what I'm going to do with are a couple of our clients are well over the 50, well not well over, but over the 50,000. They've submitted tax returns. They've gone to do their application themselves because we've tried as much as possible to let our clients do their application for MTD. They've come back and they've sent screenshots, and then we've tried ourselves saying you're not allowed to. You're not.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and in my world, and hey, look, shoot me down as much as you want. In my world, we are not submitting MTD on behalf of them. We've saved these screenshots. We put them in there. I think maybe quarter 2, quarter 3, we'll give HMRC a call and actually talk to them. But at this point, it's right. You're not on our list. We're going to deal with you later, sort of thing. That's been frustrating in terms of we know we should be doing it. We've agreed fees with the client. They're all up to date. They're ready to rock and roll. And, technically we can't do it. My other technical issue from a HMRC point of view is I am now on 22 times that I've had to re-register the thing. So that's 22
awful.
Times I have had to tell.
That's so many.
Well, in fairness to HMRC, I have multiple ASA accounts and I have multiple software. So I'd always have had to do X amount, right?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they keep falling off. And I'm having to go back in and redo it and redo it. And I wouldn't mind so much, but I'm having to put how much I pay HMRC each time.
You are. It's really bugged you, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's been painful. It's been painful.
I must admit, I just and this is probably maybe I shouldn't admit this. My tax manager's got my driving license, and my tax details because the amount of the amount of times, but not as many as that. But I'm like, well, just there you go. There's my driving license. Go for it.
I had a weird one yesterday trying to get someone in, and they didn't ask for my driving license or my tax details. Oh no, I think they did that. They asked for a credit reference, and I had to go through what my mortgage amount was. And
for goodness sake!
Yeah,
that's very intrusive.
Yeah, and that. Full transparency, I failed it. I had to go down
Don't we always fail it? Because we're like, when did I take out that mobile phone contract?
Yeah. From 2013 it was. I have no idea. No idea. So they've been my technical issues and more frustration than anything else, right? But with you, Amy, there, like, I would not feel comfortable asking my team to put their details in here because anyone can do it, right? As long as you pass your security, right? You are allowed. You're allowed to.
No, they can just have mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of an ask, isn't it?
Although I'm not sure I want them to know how much I pay tax. I feel like it.
I'm on my own agent account, so if they really wanted to, they'd get it anyway. So I just think, oh wow.
I suppose they could do the same with mine, right?
Yeah.
But look, that's been the frustrating. Software-wise, unfortunately, I've been really let down. Like, Free Agent smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. I have been on a beta with Sage, with embedded services. That's been amazing. Beautiful solution. Zero, unfortunately, I was pushing because they are looking at that more complex scenario. And they haven't really delivered on it. It's been glitchy. It's been problematic. It's not quite done what it said. But I kind of give them a pass because fair play to them. They're going for something that no one else can deliver on, right? Like, they're going for that complex one. I do think they should have done more beta testing. They should have got more people involved. They should have tested this and kicked the tires more, and so on and so forth. At the moment, we've had some real issues trying to get to the right figure. Si was saying Monty, he had 2 hours wasted just because the national insurance number wasn't in, but the error message didn't tell him that and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So Zero's been frustrating. QuickBooks, though, we had that whole issue of them taking away our solution. We thought that'd be the end of it. Yesterday, day before, I don't know if you saw my LinkedIn post, they've now changed the whole interface on how you submit it. Like,
I think I did this emoji.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh no.
And it's
Just
like you say,
wait.
couldn't they have waited till after the 8th, after the 7th?
We're stressed enough, right? We're all panicking, and this is the last week, and we're all trying to get it done and do the best for our clients. Like, the last thing we want to do is learn a UI change at this late game. I mean, they posted that idea that you then, which I love the idea of it, but it's, I don't know if you've seen this, but there is now a send for review button in QuickBooks. Great idea. You can send it all via the system, get it approved, and send it in. Why are they testing it on MTD? It's right. Like, we're trying to figure out how to sign up. We're trying to figure out what buttons to press. We're trying to figure out, are we supposed to do quarterly, not quarterly, and do we do to the 5th, and should we do cumulative? Not. We've got all that to learn. Don't throw in the mix of this solution of sending it over to approve in product when we can't see the emails go out. There's no audit trail. We don't know what the client's expectations are. We don't know what they see. We don't know if we get like, an email back to us or a notification back to us. We don't know any of that, right? If they'd put this in the VAT as a bit of a tester, fair play. Like, let's because we know how a normal VAT submission works, don't we? We're all fully aware of that. But the fact that they've thrown like those little things in there, which great intention, like the intention is fantastic, and I think the end result amazing. But there's a disconnect at the moment with Intuit where they're not talking to their accountants. They're not having those conversations with us. They're making these changes in their own little ecosystem. Positive changes, like the changes that I've seen to the new layout are really good. Approval in products really good, but they're not communicating with us, and Intuit are causing us the most problems at this point in time, and that's a crazy thing to say.
So just from, obviously, you're the QuickBooks chap, you're in the know. So from a client perspective, what was released yesterday, is that going to change what the client is seeing? Because well, no. We can, as accountants and bookkeepers, we can handle change more. We used to change all the time. I mean, even more now in the last year than ever before if we had ridiculous amounts of changes in our lives. Yeah. Clients, I mean, even with the interface last year, that the whole interface, that was, we were preparing our clients for it, blah, blah. We still had this, oh my God, I don't know where I'm going. Now, if you've got clients doing it themselves, which many people are, and you've changed that, something within there, you're setting them up to fail, aren't you? I mean, it's a complete disconnect of what's going on in the UK at the moment.
It's so frustrating, right? Like, again, it's a communication thing. Like, talk to us, and we would have said, love these updates. There's a few bits that could have done better, but overall positive update. But just wait until the 8th. Like, the 8th would have been fine. The 8th would have had no issues whatsoever. And post there, and they've even taken away function. So there was a function where I think they called it Intuit Tax, whatever their term was. Basically, when you went to submit, and had this pop out, and then from this pop out, you could see all this information. And what they've done, instead of it going to a pop out to a whole different solution, it's now embedded directly in QuickBooks. So overall, again, positive. But the nice thing about the pop out was that you could switch between clients quickly. So what we were using that for was quickly go through our list and go, yep, submit. You know, we're in the early days. We're being overly cautious. We're doing things that probably we won't be doing in quarter 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. But we're just trying to dot the I's and cross the T's, right? Like, we're trying to be that a little bit more. And they've taken that away from us. So now we've got to go into the individual clients, find them, and everything else. And it's like, that was a great feature that really helped us. You've now taken that away. Again, Intuit's just in a really weird place at the moment where they seem to be wanting to butt heads with accountants. Like, I'm trying to be the defense for them. I'm trying to be the QuickBooks trap. I'm trying to be positive about it. I can't be. If I can't be, what else is people get perception going to be? What about you, Susanna, how's it been in terms of the tech side?
In terms of the software, can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Oh, that's good. I've had a few issues. So I had an issue with Sage on both my Sage clients, where randomly, although I'd mapped everything properly in the chart of accounts, there were accounts that were, when I compared my P&L with the MTD quarterly report, it wasn't adding up, and it wasn't matching. The totals on the expenses weren't matching, and I had one nominal code that wasn't pulling through for some reason, and I had that on 2 different clients for the same code. And to be fair to Sage, they did sort it quite quickly, but I did have to sort of go through the whole thing where I got fobbed off a bit, because they must be getting so many. I mean, the guy who I spoke to who dealt with it was really good in the end, and he just said, we're just getting overwhelmed by the amount of people who are phoning us or contacting us, unrepresented people who are basically trying to get Sage to tell them how to do the bookkeeping and how to do everything. And their time. And so I think their default reaction is often just to sort of say, go away, not go away, but no, it is correct. It is.
Here is Susanna who can help you.
But I was like, no, it's definitely not adding up. And then they looked at it, and then it had to go off to the developers and be fixed. And they did fix it quite quickly. So I was really glad that I'd looked at those ones early in the month, and not, they weren't last minute ones, because that could have been a problem. And then I've had a technical issue on Xero with a landlord who's got jointly owned properties and 100% owned properties, and you have to use tracking categories to separate them, or tracking options. I can never remember which is which. So that the joint owned income and expenses are apportioned in the correct percentages, and that wasn't happening. And again, that was only because I checked the P&L against the MTD report, and I could see it's not apportioning it. It's pulling everything through at 100%, and people who aren't checking are not going to spot that, particularly if they're if they're just a member of the public and they're doing their own. They're not going to know, and that would have been overstating their income and expenses. And that went back to Xero again, same sort of thing, got fobbed off for a bit, and then they did deal with it, and then apparently it was a known issue. Well,
yeah,
but that has now been fixed.
That's the exact issue we had, not apportioning, which is the bit where I'm a little bit frustrated, because they're telling everyone they can do this, right?
Yeah,
they didn't test it, right? And that's the bit.
And it's only the people like us who are checking everything properly, that otherwise that could have been filed. And I don't know if people are doing their own, and they might even be doing their own final declaration if Xero ever actually get that ready to do. But.
Yeah, exactly. But I do feel like, and look, shout me down in the comments, berate me, put me over coals. I don't mind at this point, right? But your point there about Sage was saying one thing and it was submitting another. Personal opinion on that one, and how we've dealt with a couple of them in the past, is as long as we know that our figures are absolutely spot on and we're happy and confident that the banks and all the checks we would normally do, then you know what, if quarter one's a little bit out, as long as it's within tolerance, I'm happy with that.
And because it wasn't a lot.
Quarter two is going to be cumulative, right? Quarter three is going to be cumulative. So we've taken that approach that, look, we don't need this to be absolutely perfect.
No.
What we need is just confidence that we're submitting stuff that looks reasonably.
I just thought I want to nip it in the bud if I can, because it was early early in the month. I thought we need to get this sorted but yeah, you're right. And I wasn't worried. It was more of an irritation, and it's just the extra time that then is taken trying to sort that out, go backwards and forwards. And what, we are having to do those checks. We are having to, it's an extra check now in our process, or certainly in my process. I'm running a P&L and then I'm comparing it to the output in the MTD report, because if I'm not doing that, I'm not going to spot things, and I want to make sure.
Yeah, you have to. You have to. We've been doing the same thing, especially with the apportionment side of things. Is it really doing it? And shout out to Free Agent here on their joint and doing all that. Amazing. It's really worked really well. Where we've had three different landlords with different percentages on different properties.
Yeah, that does work.
Then, husband and wife 50-50, but then husband and wife 75-25. That's worked so well. And I think that we just had wanted to double check, triple check the apportionments, double check it against the P&L to make sure that the total is different and all adds up and things. So that does take a bit of time. But then when you've got the faith in the software, then it's like, okay, quarter two will be a lot better. Quarter three will be a lot better.
The other thing I spotted as well, this is going down a bit of a landlord niche, but I've got a landlord who has furnished properties, and there's nowhere in the MTD report for the replacement of domestic items to go, because normally that's a separate box on the tax return. Now, we want to report it because it's going to affect their tax calculation estimate throughout the year.
Has that not been abolished?
Yeah, I was going to say the furnished bit. I thought the furnished bit had been abolished.
You're allowed to. You can claim for replacement ones, not the initial one. There's not that. What they abolished was the
furnished holiday.
The one that was just a percentage years and years ago, where it was just a recurring percentage. But if you're actually replacing actual items, because I've got clients with multiple rooms of furnished HMOs, so you can imagine there's quite a lot of expense goes through with replacing furniture and things like that, and TVs getting nicked all the time and stuff like that. So yeah. I think it's still a learning curve, and I think they're all trying to get it. I mean, I've just had a little message from Lisa, my tax manager, Aaron. She loves data entry. We will be using that term going forward.
There we are. And
changing all our engagement letters. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners will be doing the same thing. So we will be copying you on that.
Feel free to copy.
We've had a little bit of an issue. Tax Calc has been a bit slow lately, and they did do a webinar yesterday about MTD. Again, they've been really good, Tax Calc, in having the weekly webinars and getting them up to date. And the fetching wasn't working necessarily. So it's all tweaking, but at least we're not going to be
softwares are doing it differently as well. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. So, for example, Sage, when you file the quarterly report, it actually pulls it in up to that date. It's not actually ending at the quarter end.
Yeah,
I flagged this with them and said, "Is this right?" Because I said it can't be right, because the quarter should be ending on the 5th for that particular client. It was ending on the 5th of July, and then another one on the 30th of June. And I said, it's pulling forward stuff that's happening in July. And they said, it will do. It's going to be because it's cumulative. So I don't know how that's going to work at year end, but also that it was not great, because I was sending reports when I sent it to the client to sign, because I am doing that. We can discuss that if you want.
They're going to change, aren't they?
It's changed.
Yeah.
In the meantime, so they're signing it off, and then all of a sudden, and it's updating the tax estimate as well. I don't really like that. I wanted it, and it's making it confusing for me when I'm doing my P&L to a certain date, because I couldn't work out why it wasn't matching. And then I realised when I drilled in, it's pulling in not future transactions, but transactions after the quarter end. Sage have said, no, that's how we're doing it. But they're not all, but then obviously Free Agent aren't doing it like that, and neither is Xero and QuickBooks, I would imagine. So we've got to be, as long as we're aware of these things, I suppose we can work around them. But this is part of the learning curve when we start doing it. And that took up some time trying to work out what was going on there. And I'm still not convinced. Hearing what you said about the glitches with the dates and the tax months and stuff putting through, I'm wondering now, have mine pulled through correctly? But they said they had.
At least something submitted, right? Like that's all we've got to get done at this point. We just got to get something submitted.
Exactly. But I don't want it getting to year end and then it's pulling stuff through for like later on in.
Oh no! Year.
That's still the frustration, right? We still haven't seen the year end final declarations of all of it, which is still a bugbear of mine. Amy, you're still the hostess with the mostess. So do you want to just bring in some of the comments?
I don't know how to technically bring them up on the screen though, Aaron. So we've got quite a few. Who are you bringing in first?
Do you want to start from Paul?
Yes, Paul Whitehouse. Hi.
Oh, Paul Whitehouse. Sorry, not lingering.
I think that's further down. Oh no, there isn't. Oh yeah, hi.
I'll just put these up and then carry on.
Underwater. Oh no, can you all hear me now?
You're fine.
This was historical.
You're absolutely fine. You're absolutely fine. Oh, hi, Kirsty. Don't worry. We were a little bit late as well, so I'm sure you've been catching up. There's Paul Whitehouse. Hi. Oh, last client chatting. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. We're assisting those who want to do it themselves on the first submission free of charge, but after that they're on your own. Yeah, it sounds like I'm doing the same now, Paul. I hadn't had an intention to, but I'm doing the same. Had over 90 to put into MTD. Wow. And only about 12 were already prepared due to being VAT registered. Yeah, I mean, I think, wow, Paul, that is a lot. I'm glad you had some already, but where are you at now? Let us know where you're at now with your 90. It'll be interesting to see. Rob, I'm new business. Started to QuickBooks, eBay, and not earning enough. Question is, do I need a bookkeeper and accountant, and roughly what the cost? Probably not the best place for that answer. Give Susanna's a full-time bookkeeper. Hook her up after this chat, and she'll give you an estimate of the costs. Paul, last time I tried Intuit Tax, it just wouldn't load the quarters. Okay. We'll have a look at that this afternoon. Now you've got me a little bit concerned. All right.
Well, Intuit Tax doesn't exist anymore, so good luck trying to do it now.
Oh, I thought, they keep changing the names.
Yeah.
Intuit Labs, Intuit Assist.
Yeah,
I thought maybe they brought it back, Aaron, and you just don't know about it.
No, it's now embedded in the license. So.
Oh, okay. Mehul, Sage is looking for bookkeepers to have a roundtable discussion on the 7th of September. Oh, if you're interested.
And I did their embedded one, and it was brilliant. Embedded services one. So highly recommend a good old Sage roundtable.
Yeah, I've checked it diary, but yeah.
Do it.
Thanks,
Although that seems very close to Accountex.
Accountex is the following week, isn't it? 15?
Oh, is it?
15.
Also, might be busy on this. Oh, no. 7th of September, you'll be fine. Well, depends what your VAT quarters are, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Kirsty, yes, I compare my P&L to MTD before submission. I changed my account numbers on QuickBooks to match the MTD report. That is a good idea.
Yeah, I must admit, QuickBooks could have made that whole, mapping against chart of accounts simpler and more straightforward. For the unrepresentative, I think it's going to be a pain.
Yeah, if all you needed, button, I'm doing MTD. Here's your chart of accounts to start with. Thank you very much. But hey, we live and learn. Agree with Susanna. Read the represented not knowing what checks to do. MTD will close the tax gap. And a laughing face. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm interested to see the stats on Craig Ogilvy used to do the stats on the software and the people. I'm keeping an eye because I want to see. Paul, we had an issue with SumUp. Client processed all payments into a control account, and we'd extract the reports from SumUp and populate his income.
Oh, is that the SumUp solution?
Yeah, about submitting he filed before we'd run the report. Oh, no.
Whoops.
That's a little bit awkward. Where are we in the submitting amended?
We just press submit, don't we? And just
press submit, and it will just overwrite again.
Yeah.
We don't have to submit as many as you want, say amended or anything.
You can submit as many times as you want, apparently, in a quarter.
Well, I did 4 in 5 minutes, so by accident. But I just wondered if you come after the 7th. And you'd already submitted, because when you do a tax return, you have to tick the amended box. We're not doing tax returns.
You're still doing cumulative, though, aren't you? I imagine up until you submit your final declaration, you can submit as many as you want.
You could do each quarter as many times as you wanted.
It's whether it will put it into quarter 1 or quarter 2, I suppose.
Yeah, so peek behind the windows. For me to do my videos of doing submissions and stuff, like I submitted from the moon, if anyone saw it. But when I did all them, every time I've submitted, I've just kept submitting the same one again and again.
So right up until what point, though? So will it be the 30th
Well, you're going to have to keep submitting, aren't you, before your final submission? Because technically, your final submission should be based on those 4 quarters.
Yeah, I get it. But say quarter 1.
Yeah.
You want to amend quarter 1 figures, right? Will there be a cutoff point that you can't amend quarter 1 figures, like on the 30th September? Or the 5th of October.
It's irrelevant, isn't it? Because quarter 2 is a cumulative of quarter 1 and 2.
Yeah, I get that. But say you find an error like Paul's got, you find it in mid-September. Would you just wait?
You can still change it. I think you can still change it.
I've submitted loads of quarter 1s already. So.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I imagine you'll be allowed to keep submitting. Or again, I don't know for sure, but my assumption is it's up until you file your final declaration.
That's
your
what
You
cut-off
could
point.
do, yeah. I just wondered when Q1 amendment cutoff ends and Q2 starts.
I don't think there is. I think you submit as many times as you want.
I think it just becomes cumulative, so it doesn't really matter. I think.
Yeah.
I think you can just keep
we'll see
amending
what
into the
happens.
final declaration.
Or on your Sage point, that's a Sage specific thing. In the early days,
that's
as a group, was fed back to the software vendors. This was not a good idea. Most changed it, or at least gave options. Sage
At least I
didn't.
know it's not me
They're
just going
being
mad.
stubborn.
To the date she meant. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Paul, down to the last 15 meetings booked all week. Well
Nice.
done.
Well done.
75 down. Please sing YMCA by the Village People.
Okay.
You don't want to hear me sing, trust me. Unless it's Phil Collins, Easy Lover. I'm great at that. Kirsty, 2 out of 3 okay for me. My final one is done, but quick won't show it's done. Just keep submitting, Kirsty, like I did. Just go.
One day I'll show.
Yeah, Dean said the same.
I've been trying to file my end of year on QuickBooks today, and it's contradicting itself as to whether or not the submission is made. Sound like the same with Kirsty? I mean, I probably wouldn't. I was joking with the resubmission. 24 hours. If after 24 hours it's not there, give Aaron a call. QuickBooks chat.
Thanks.
Overall, my staff feel the submissions are so anticlimactic. Oh,
Yes, an explosion would be
You can
nice.
provide your own confetti cannons. You know, that could be that's a writable off expense, right? And we're allowed to know that.
Can we have a word? If anyone from Free Agent, Tax Calc, QuickBooks Zero, Sage are listening, can we have some confetti cannons, please?
Yeah.
Just for the first quarter, the novelty will wear off after that. Brilliant. Thanks for everyone for commenting and asking questions. It's been great.
I've got a topic for us to chew over next. So I went to the Sage embedded services, which obviously, honestly, you need to keep an eye on that. I was just playing around with Tide this morning because I got the beta access to it. And for anyone who doesn't know, Sage Embedded Services is basically the back end of a banking app for doing their data entry, not bookkeeping, data entry. So the client can add submissions, it can submit MTD if they want to, they can categorize transactions on the fly. So every time they make a payment, they categorize it. Instead of it going into that black hole like it does with a lot of banking, you as the accountant, you send a little code over to them, they approve you, and on the back end of Sage, you can see all their transactions beautifully coming in. No need for bank feeds, no need for anything like that. It's all coming through. And they've got some really nice, and honestly, like for that tranche that you were talking about there, Amy, about the big scary lot next year.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
But that's assuming that everything goes through the bank.
So 17%, I was told at this thing, don't go through the bank. And they are looking at ways to get the 17% or whatever that number is going to be, like easily in, and how you could use basically OCR technology, whatever it needs to be, receipt capture, whatever you want to call it, and get that through the banking app as well. But they've even got nice features where you can ask a question and it's going to pop up in their banking app and they'll be able to see that transaction, be able to answer.
Well, you can, as the accountant or bookkeeper, ask the question. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
all in the
cool.
back end of this QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Sage. It's really, really nice. Anyway, one thing that, because again, I was going into that Sage Embedded really positive, like this is open banking like we've always wanted it, and there was a lot of confusion, frustration, all that sort of stuff, which now that I've kind of had that opportunity to kind of go through it and everything, I understand. And a lot of it is this whole idea that the unrepresented are getting too much power, like they're getting an opportunity to be able to, do data entry, not bookkeeping, and be able to kind of circumvent the need for accountant is what they're saying. And they brought up the good point about like, well, how do we combat this? Like what we want to do as accountants, bookkeepers, make sure things are doing right and proper and but there's always going to be clients out there who are unrepresented, or business out there who are unrepresented, and they'll never change. I want to ask your opinion on this idea. So think about it like smoking, right? At the moment, there's nothing wrong. No one's telling you it's illegal or not illegal to smoke. Same filing your own tax return and VAT returns and everything else. You don't have to have an accountant. It's not a legal requirement. But what if we made it more obvious that if you are doing it unrepresentative, you're at more risk? So you know, the visualness of them filing it, however it's going to be, is making it very much more apparent that they're filing and they're going, like HMRC is going to know they're filing by themselves. HMRC are going to treat them as more risky and everything else. Yeah. And HMRC are going to know what software they've used to file that. And that's also going to give them an opportunity to rank them, rate them, whatever you want to do, so they could be more, look into more inquiries and everything else. Because I don't think we can ever get to a point where we can mandate the use of accountant's book. I don't think that's fair.
No, that's not right.
But I do think maybe they should say that people have to do some kind of business course if they're going to do their own.
But even if it's just making them very, very aware. And then on the flip side for what I was thinking was, is that then something that we could market ourselves as accountants and bookkeepers and say, look, you're getting this really nasty message pop up when you file it. File through us, you won't get that message.
And you'll be lower risk.
Yeah. So, yeah, go on.
Then you're going to get unscrupulous bookkeepers and accountants as well. So, but it does reduce the risk.
Interesting on that point. They also gave a stat. We spoke about it the other day, didn't we, Amy? 40% of accountants and bookkeepers were filing via Companies House.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm still shocked by that stat, to be honest.
Kind of gives you a bit of an indication.
I look at it from that perspective of the Companies House filings and the changes that are being made with the Companies House filings, that you can't do it anymore. You won't be able to do it anymore. So, and we're going to be, with Companies House, they're not looking at accountants and bookkeepers. HMRC are, with their whole tax agents, we have to prove that we are worthy enough to have that agent status. And yes, I'm not saying a certificate means that you're great, but it's a step closer to that, right? So if there's a restriction in the ability to file based on us and our qualification as tax agent, that's the best situation. So putting the restrictions, like Companies House are putting the restrictions in, okay, they can, an individual can go and get the software themselves and file through the software themselves. But if you take Xero, a client can't file their accounts and tax returns through there. Is that right? Yeah.
I don't know.
No, they can't.
No, it has to be an accountant. It is a topic that come up.
Yeah, maybe.
Free agent give that toggle, don't they? They can toggle it on and off.
Free agent did the toggle,
Is only, it's only the accountant.
The only thing with that, and I feel from clients and their argument would be, is I feel like I can do it myself and I can do it right. Why should I need to pay for someone to do it? And then that's the pricing discussion.
And
should
those really simple businesses,
but should we as accountants have a moral duty to price at a level that's right for the clients rather than massively charge them for pressing a button? But I do think HMRC bringing something in, and I think they're edging that way with this whole tax agents, and I never got my agent account without sending my certificate off.
No.
And I'm sure there are some that have come through the cracks. So it's kind of already there. It wouldn't take a lot to do it, but I think now that's not going to come. I don't feel that's going to come in because there's been such a play with MTD on people being able to do it themselves as well. Are you
saying that they can't do their final declaration on most of the softwares themselves anyway? So
the problem would be solved of people filing willy-nilly numbers that they want. The problem will be solved if they brought in the restrictions, like Companies House bringing in the restrictions that you have to have software and this kind of software to do it. And then if the software houses do like what Xero have done and say, you have to have a practice to be able to file your accounts at Companies House. I may have got this Xero thing wrong. You guys know I don't use Xero, but that was my impression.
I would imagine that the more kind of the lower down kind of simple versions of Xero, surely that was what they were marketing them towards, people who wanted to do their own. I don't know. I don't use those as an example
that only the accountants and the bookkeepers do the submissions, and then we are proving that we have the right qualification to do it, then you would expect figures to be right. I'm not saying 100%. We all know there's cowboy bookkeepers and accountants out there. but we've got a chance. But then you've got that minority of people that do want to do it themselves. I mean, it's still called self-assessment. It's still part of self-assessing. And I think calling it that, people think, oh, well, I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it right. But we've all had clients that we've taken over doing their tax returns and they're made up numbers or completely got something wrong. So I think in an ideal world, if HMRC want it to be spot on, then they need to bring in the restrictions that accountants and bookkeepers are the only ones that are doing the submissions.
That would certainly help more with closing the tax gap, I would think, than letting people do their own.
Yeah, there's clearly needs to be more boundaries on these quarterly submissions, because if they want to get to the point where they're collecting taxes, I mean, I think some people still think that they are collecting taxes based on these submissions.
Hasn't it? There's a consultation going on.
Yeah, but that was on a monthly basis, wasn't it, rather than a quarterly?
Based on your quarters, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Trying to line them up. Yeah.
But I think if you're going to do that, you can't leave it in the hands of the taxpayers.
No, I agree.
Unless I don't think there will ever be you have to do this course thing.
But you can't.
But it's your.
I don't think. Yeah.
It's your gig mentality clients that you've got to feel sorry for, right? And that's why they can't ever do a blanket, because an Avon lady or a eBay reseller or whoever it's going to be, I saw a really nasty post by let's not call him friend of the show, let's call him enemy of the show, Mr. Stuart Hurst. Where he posted about how Stuart Hurst, he posted about how, and I'm paraphrasing what his post was, and I almost wrote a really thing, but it was something like, for the price of Domino's or something, that, why are you complaining about this cost? Or so, I think might have been a zero price rise or something. But generally, there are clients out there that Domino's is a luxury item, and they're doing this extra piece of work to try.
Domino's are expensive.
Yeah, and they're doing this extra piece of work because they're trying to help their kids through school, or whatever it's going to be. Like there's so many, people in so many different situations, everything else, and forcing them to. It's already like there is a big thing about this, forcing them to use software, right, because of the costs associated and everything else. Forcing them to also have an accountant, I think, is really harsh, isn't it? You're right, though, Amy, about this. And it's been a big campaign of mine about, reducing the barrier of entry for an accountant and bookkeeper to help them out. I think there's definitely a conversation around that. But yeah, I just can't see him forcing it would be the right thing to do, because it's just there's certain people out there that, they just generally don't have that sort of disposable income, right, to afford it. So. Yeah,
it's mean to put something out like that.
Yeah.
To you don't know people's circumstances. You don't know I'm constantly switching between iTunes and and Spotify, depending on what deal they do, to save me a couple of £1 a month. And I do that. And I know that might sound silly, but times are hard. You can't really compare that. And I think every price.
Then it's not going to learn your music tastes. How that's blowing my mind on that.
No, you can upload it to iTunes. I'll tell you about it later. Right. But you got, we're being hit at all angles. Little price increase here, little price increase there, and I completely understand why clients are like, absolutely not. Which is why I've given people the bridging option, because I don't charge them for the tax calc. Because it's so dirt cheap. However, if they want to do their own bookkeeping, they're going to have the software, basically, because I'm not prepared for them to give me stuff like in a spreadsheet like that. So I can see both sides, and I think there's just the software's going up, and then the receipt capture software and everything else. And hitting these people. We can rant all day about they're going for the wrong people, but we're in where we're in, and we just have to tell clients that, it's not us. I tell them, I don't want to do this. I don't necessarily want to do this.
And it is work for us. We've got to charge for it. We can't be, we're doing it for free because we feel sorry for people.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Amy,
I do think.
Do the last of the comments and then we can get out of here.
Yeah. HMRC nice lady said she had it on the 29th.
So she's already checked. The software's not saying it's been submitted.
Oh yeah.
HMRC is
So
saying
Oh.
it.
road gone through. Okay.
Just out of curiosity on that, they could you, and maybe even think, could you have not gone to the HMRC MTD portal ASA account and checked it from there?
I guess it doesn't
Because
show up
that's
for 2
updated.
days. There's a delay, isn't there?
Oh, is it
Probably.
still a delay? Is it?
I think so. In the same
never
way
looked
that
straight
it is
away,
with
I've always done
self-assessment,
later.
I would imagine that it doesn't show for 2 or 3 days, does it? With
2
self-assessment.
or 3 and the rest.
Okay, is it that bad? Is it right? Okay.
Sometimes on self-assessment, I'm like, yeah, we made a payment 2 weeks ago, still not showing.
Really?
Remind me to post my my personal ASA account and how many submissions I may have missed being an alpha. I think I have like 24 to catch up on.
Oh dear.
I'll post it on
Oh
socials.
Oh dear. Oh, hi Gideon.
Hi, Gideon.
Thanks for watching. Oh, Army, yeah. Susanna, hi. Hi, Erin.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you. I'm good, thank you. So hi, I just wanted to thank Aaron for his QuickBooks videos. Yay! Especially his great stuff of income. I run on the business on eBay. Yes. I must say, multiple times I've watched Aaron's secondhand margin scheme on QuickBooks.
Yeah.
And I watched the
I
PBA
literally
one.
pause it and do it step by step. So yeah, Aaron, you are serving the community.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And what a cute little pug there as well.
Oh, that is a cute little pug. Very cute. Oh, bye, Paul.
I think he's gone.
That's good. Oh, thanks, Mahal. Yeah, thank you. I hope you're well. And we've happened to have swapped emails as she's fixed my quarter dates. Oh, Kirsty's gotten in with HMRC.
No.
Any
Share the
issues,
email,
go
share
to
the
Kirsty
email.
St. John. She's got a contact.
Well done, Amy. You've done a smashing job of doing the old hosting.
Well
And
done, Amy.
we're going to
Thank
leave it in your
you.
capable hands.
Thank you. And thank you for everyone for coming. Overall, I think we're having a positive experience through teething issues, and we are looking forward to preparing our clients for 2027-28. Thanks. I'm thinking about that. That's on the front of my mind. Aaron, maybe not so much. But thank you all for
embedded
listening.
services might be involved. That's all I can say.
Yes. Okay, we'll listen out to Aaron so he can tell us what software to use. And we will be coming back soon. I think we need to have a little bit, a debrief after everything is in for this quarter. So look out on socials, on the RC Accountant Network. And yeah, there's no outro. So thank you everyone for coming, and looking forward to speaking to you all soon.
There is an outro and it's coming now.
It's-
Bye.
Bye.